Before we get started with this week's episode, we're really excited to remind you about this cool event happening. It's an annual event at Rev Road called the Rev Road Entrepreneur Competition, sponsored by Central Bank.
We're giving away $14,500 in cash prizes at the event. We're looking for more applications. So to apply, if you have a startup, you want to apply for the competition, you apply at comp.revroad.com.
And hurry, because applications are only open until August 13th at midnight. Again, it's comp.revroad.com. Super fun day, September 17th, 2022. You'll see all the greatest startups and all the cool companies that are building their models and their products and their services and their technology at this one event, one of the largest competitions in the state. Hope to see you there. We're so excited for this week's episode. It's Aleksa Porter from Wander. If you know anything about Wander, it's a really cool digital 3D map on your phone in an app. So anywhere you go that's fun, think of Lake Powell or any of the national parks or anywhere that you're going to go to visit a cool area, they're going to have a map for it on your phone that never disconnects, even if you have internet or not. And Aleksa talks about in this episode how they literally were scheduling appointments at midnight because they all had a full-time job still when they were starting out. And then a scary story that happened to her not too long ago, actually, in a hospital back east when she was doing a trade show, right in the middle of the trade show. So tune in for this episode. We're excited to talk to Aleksa Porter. Here we go. And we're excited to hear your story, Aleksa.
Yeah,
so can
I'm
we
happy
dive
to
right
be
in?
here. Yeah, let's go for it.
This is great. So tell us what your role with the company is and what you do with Wander. And we're excited to hear what makes you a midnight founder.
Yeah, super excited to be here. So I'm actually one of the founders of Wander, and right now I'm acting as a lot of things. You'll find
Many hats, right?
A lot of hats.
That's how it works in
Too
startups.
many hats sometimes. Yeah, so right now I'm acting as the CMO and COO, as well as account management and HR, which is probably the worst part of my entire job. Like, big props to
No
anyone that
offense
has
to those
do
HR folks out there, right?
I have so much respect for them. Like, my respect has grown exponentially after doing it for a day. So
just the hiring and the interviewing, or
did you know that with HR you have to register in each state that you have an employee?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's hard. Working with all of the different governments in each state and trying to convince them to accept you as a company. And
some of my background is HR, and it was only for a short time because I'm like, this is not for me. This is too much documentation.
Yeah, it's been a little difficult. But anyways, yeah, so I'm with Wander. I am one of the founders. It's been quite the journey. Wander is a destination experience platform. We work specifically with destinations or any tourism attractions that have visitors coming and need a map. And we provide interactive 3D offline maps for them to be able to distribute to their guests.
So in an app format, right?
App, yes, we have the Wander app, but we actually have made it possible for people to scan a QR code and use it just on their web version of their phone. Nobody likes downloading apps anymore.
Cool.
So we're trying to get rid of apps.
Even better. Love
Yes.
it. So now you don't have to have that folded up map that you're trying to look at and drive and go down the trail and that sort of thing. It's the thing of the past now.
Yep, no more paper maps.
Love
Well,
that.
everybody's already got a phone anyways, so
True, but
use it.
the problem with the phone is that, I mean, you get on these trails and you lose Wi-Fi and you don't have any service. Then what? Does the Wander app still work?
Yep. Yeah, we provide everything without any service. You still receive
cool.
all the content straight from the destination.
Cool.
See all the trails, all the points of interest, anything that they want to draw out and present to their visitors. So it's been a big thing lately with COVID, with the local restaurants, the local businesses have really struggled, and destinations haven't really had the outlet to promote those local restaurants and those local businesses. So we're providing this map and this form of communication that destinations can truly communicate to their visitors, and visitors can know exactly where they need to go.
It'd be cool to, I'm going to go full nerd mode right
Go
now.
for it.
Please.
Nerd out.
When I was younger, me and my buddies used to do geocaching. It'd be cool to incorporate some like geocaching with all of these like national parks and stuff like
Yes.
I'm sure you had thought of that.
Definitely in the plans.
Okay.
I think we're going to call it the Wander Passport.
Yeah.
But don't tell everybody.
that. Okay.
It's our little
We'll
secret.
edit that out.
Okay. Or won't come out for weeks, right?
Yeah, maybe a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, it's in the running.
Yeah,
we
that's
definitely
fun.
want to make it a competition. I'm very competitive, so
Yeah,
Very
for sure.
good.
yeah.
We started hiding tokens. We went full nerd on this. So we started.
Yeah, you did.
Hiding like these silver dollars at all of these different rock climbing spots that we went to, and we take
Nice.
pictures
So
of them
cool.
and then hide them, and then like just on our like social media platforms with like 300 followers. It was like, see if you can find the dollar.
So was this pre-Pokemon Go
Yeah,
days?
this was like 10 years ago.
You were already doing it.
Wow.
But we never
You should have patented that.
yeah, we never made anything out of it. So now we just have like dollars just hidden all around the country in like these random spots that we have to go pick up at some point.
And or lucky, lucky
somebody
hikers are
finds
gonna
them.
find them. Yeah,
Who knows?
I
That's
feel like
great.
with all these destinations we're working with, I'm going to go hiking now.
Yeah, you're just gonna
Try
run
and
across
find
a
all these
dollar,
silver dollars.
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Well, Aleksa, obviously this is the Midnight Founders podcast. So, and you've been in this now for a minute, working and building this company and promoting this company. What is the moment you remember that makes you a Midnight Founder, when you were cranking away at midnight and trying to figure this thing out? Help us understand that story.
Yeah, so there's 3 of us founders. There's myself, my husband actually, and then our other founder, and her name is also AJ.
Love it. Know her and love
the
her.
name. Yep.
Yes, so great.
Yeah, so we actually had meetings at midnight. That was the only time we could meet, was at midnight, because we all 3 still had our full-time jobs. We knew we wanted to do this. We actually had one of our investors, they actually handed over their building at midnight, and they would give us their keys. We'd go in at midnight, have our meeting until like 1, 2 a.m. sometimes, and then we'd wake up the next morning and go to work. So literally Midnight Founders. I think that's actually what we built our company on, was the midnight meetings.
Should have been called the Midnight Founders Wander app.
Yep. That's it. That's exactly
awesome.
it. So
Cool.
yeah, it was quite the experience and tiring.
I bet.
Wow, that's incredible. So is this your first startup?
Yes.
Do you consider yourself like an entrepreneur from birth, or are you just getting into the entrepreneurship world?
Absolutely. So I'm actually a basketball coach. I do a lot of one-on-one training. So I've actually kind of already started my own business in basketball coaching. And so I've actually done entrepreneurship from a young age. Lemonade stands. Does that count?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Lemonade stands up to, selling lots of different baking goods to, always trying to find an outlet and a resource to use your talents. So I really believe that you can find something you're good at and then make it into something, make it into a business. Find something you're passionate about, find something that you love, and then run with it, because you won't find a better job.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that. We actually heard a little bit of that in the last podcast that we recorded with Hypercraft. They were saying
Awesome.
some of the same things. So that's fantastic advice.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's great.
And I think there's a special superpower reserved for husband and wife teams that can work together and still stay married. Don't you think, Jake?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me and my wife built a house together, and everybody, when they knew we were going to do it, like we actually built the house. And when we were
Wow.
getting ready to build the house, everybody was like, don't do it. Your marriage won't survive.
Yeah.
But we
I really
loved
wanna
it.
try.
We had so much fun. And Kelsey and I actually were texting the other day and saying we wanted to do it again.
Wow. So you guys both have the
Wow,
superpowers
that's
then.
impressive.
Yeah.
That's
But you're
really
doing
impressive.
it right now. You're in the middle of it. You're running a business with your husband. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely been a really, when we first got married, I told him I would never work with him. I said, this is an absolute no. And he was all heartbroken because
He's always wanted that?
yeah,
Oh,
he did
interesting.
actually. And, we weren't planning on this, but it happened, and it's been really good for us, actually. We've loved every second of it. He works upstairs, I work downstairs. That's how we separate things. And then we'll come meet in the middle and say hi and then go back to work.
Do you have time zones where you're like, hey, this time of the day we can't talk about work, or there's boundaries or something?
We've had to learn how to do that.
Okay.
Because, you go home to your spouse and you say, how was your day? And I already know how his day was. I know that some meetings were really hard. I know that he got turned down, or that, different things happened. But there's some nights where we have to go home and just say, don't talk to me about work. And when I say go home, we're already home. We go see each other again and we say, let's not talk about work.
You upstairs and he comes downstairs.
Yeah. Let's not talk about work anymore. It just becomes a little too much.
It's Nathan, right?
Yeah.
His name. Nathan's had this plan the whole time. He just didn't
Oh,
let
yeah.
Aleksa in on it.
That's right. Like, let me see how I can figure this out and work this
We
out.
got to figure out a business that I can
Yeah.
convince her to be part of.
And I
He
think,
probably did.
and I think I know the story that he knew AJ, the CEO of the company, before you did, right, Alexa? So this is
Yeah.
probably all part of the plan that he had.
Yeah, and I guess they were scheming in high school. So
Just came out. Learned about it here.
We learned, yeah, we put the dots together here on the podcast.
yes.
That's great. Well, Alexa, tell us about a crazy story that you've had as an entrepreneur that you're like, whoa, I can't believe I went through that. Just a wild experience.
Yeah, so the wild experience actually happened a month ago. I
Mhm.
think tomorrow, if we're being actually specific.
Mm.
Nathan, my husband, he is over sales and I'm over marketing. And we've been going to a lot of conventions and a lot of conferences, and sometimes we've just split up.
Mm-hmm.
So he was at a conference over on the West Coast. I was over on a conference on the East Coast. And our plan was to meet in North Carolina
Mm-hmm.
because that's where AJ's from, and we had a conference there.
Mm-hmm.
So I arrived a day and a half early, and the next morning I started having this really bad pain in my right side.
Oh, no.
And I messaged him. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I can't walk. I feel like I'm gonna die, basically. And he's on this plane ride on his way here, and I'm still texting him and everything. I ended up going to the emergency room, and they said, you need emergency surgery. And
Oh, no.
I said, but my husband doesn't get here till 11 p.m. And they're like, well, he'll be here when you wake up. So I don't know if that has to necessarily do straight with the business, but that was probably the craziest experience that we've
So
had.
scary. Stressful, huh?
Yeah, he got there around midnight, and I woke up around midnight. The surgery went well and everything, but it was
Goodness. Appendicitis or
wild-
something?
Sorry, what?
Appendicitis or something related
It was
to that?
actually an ovary torsion.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so a little worse.
Okay.
It was great.
Oh, my goodness. That sounds painful.
Yeah, and I was like, well, maybe it's just part of the entrepreneur life,
Mm-hmm.
but I really hope nobody else has to do that.
Seriously. Oh, my goodness. Especially where your spouse is across the country on a plane.
Yes, and he was not the smartest because he paid to have the
Don't be listening to
internet.
this, Nathan.
Oh, he can listen.
We'll edit that
I actually
part
felt so bad because he paid for the internet on this plane ride over, and he's Googling like what it
Oh,
is.
no.
And
Don't do that. That's the last thing you want to do.
And I
Yeah.
asked him like a week later after I Googled it because I didn't actually understand what was going on. I just knew I was hurting and needed
Yeah.
something. And I asked him, I was like, is this what you're reading on the plane ride over? And he's like, yeah, I was crying the whole time. And I
Oh,
was just
my
like,
goodness.
oh, I'm
Oh.
This
so
is like
sorry.
a horror film.
Yeah.
It really
do not do
was.
that when someone is going through something. Don't go Google it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
it was
and
rough.
to make things complicated, congratulations, Alexa. We should probably
Thank
announce to our
you.
audience that you are pregnant and
Yes.
3 months along, roughly. And so this was all happening while you knew you were in that phase, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, it was a
Scary.
wild experience, and
Yeah.
that specific surgery, there's always complications and
Yeah.
things. So, yeah,
Thank
we're really
goodness.
lucky, but we're
everything turned out
excited.
okay and everything's good now.
Everything's great.
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
we'll
glad
have
to
a
hear it.
little girl here in October.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. And now she can be part of the duo team that's an entrepreneur
She's
team.
the newest wanderer.
Maybe she can be the mascot for the company or something.
Oh,
for
that's
a
the
while.
plan.
Everything markets better with babies. We know that, right?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, AJ has a little girl and she's 2, and so we're planning to make the double duo.
Oh, cool. So cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So how long has Wander been around?
Wander's been around for a year and a half.
Okay, so you've had 18 months to learn lessons, go through growing pains. Can you share maybe a lesson that sticks out to you that you guys learned something hard or went through something hard, and at the end of it you were like, man, we could have made that so much easier, or we could have avoided those pitfalls. Obviously, there's still going to be more going forward, but for young entrepreneurs or people that are getting ready to start a business or are right in the throes of it or just starting their business, is there a lesson that you learned that you wish you wouldn't have had to learn the hard way?
I think it's an ongoing lesson.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is when there's lows, there's going to be highs.
Mm.
I think that in the middle of lows, it feels like everything's just
Horrible.
horrible
Dark.
and like going awful, and it's going to die, and everything's just going to, implode basically. And we've got quite a few employees, and as founders, we really we take our employees so close to our hearts, and we want to make sure that they can provide for their families and that they can do everything that they want to. We've got some buying houses. We've got some that have 4 kids, 5 kids. And that's been like our biggest fear is obviously failure. But in those harder times, understanding that there are better times. And so I don't necessarily know if there's a specific moment where that happened and we learned that, but us 3 founders, we've had a lot of hard times, but we've always been benefited by some good times and everything falling into place.
I think that's really good advice, just knowing that there's a yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
That there is an upside. I think it helps get you through those.
The sun will come back tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I think there's a song
Or
about
maybe
that
next
somewhere.
week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a week.
Yeah.
In Utah,
I'll be
it might be a
honest.
month or 179 days of January.
Into January. That's right. That's right. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Aleksa, clearly, I mean, you've got a great family and a wonderful spouse and a great co-founder, AJ Brow, that you're working with. But who do you feel has been your biggest inspiration or your biggest influence in your life that has got you to this point?
There's a lot of really phenomenal people. I can think about coaches that I've had. I feel like I've really learned work ethic through the sports that I've played, through things I've been a part of. But the biggest influence that I can think of would probably be my dad, actually.
Okay.
He has always had that entrepreneur mind, and anything that I wanted to do, like entrepreneur-wise, growing up, he was the first one to say, let's do it. He was the first one to initiate. He was the first one to say, what do you need? How can I help you?
That's cool.
And he always pushed me to accomplish whatever I wanted. So he kind of made the world seem like anything was doable. He made life seem like anything could be accomplished, anything could be made, anything could be done. And
That's
he was
powerful,
always that.
isn't it?
Yeah, and he did that himself. You know, he's had a really successful career. He's made a lot of influential friends, and I know he's influenced a lot of people through his life. But you know, he's the inspiration. So
That's cool.
yeah, eventually I want to take him to Africa because that's his big dream. So that's like my end goal.
And build a map for it while you're there, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's incredible. I think Wander is going to take you some really fun places.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's the funnest place it's taken you so far?
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many. We actually went to Alaska last summer, and
What part?
I love Alaska. We stayed in Fairbanks and Anchorage area.
Beautiful areas.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous areas. And we were there when the sun never goes down. So that was even better. Alaska is great because there's always sun shining in the summer. Utah's not as great. There's no sun. It's really awful here. But yeah, so Alaska was really awesome. The people are great. They've got amazing outdoors. They've got a lot to offer. So.
We go fishing every couple years in Soldana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me and my high school buddies.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's disorienting. The sun being
Yes.
up all the time. We'll be fishing, and then like we'll drive into town to get dinner, and everything's closed because it's like 3 a.m.
And you're like,
And we
wait a
don't-
second, it feels
wait.
like it's lunchtime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like dinner time, but
It's
it's,
so
like 3
nice
a.m.
that
It's
everything
weird.
stays open, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even stayed at a couple Airbnbs, and I don't know if this is legal, but they like don't have windows in any of the rooms, so they can sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Even in
Yeah.
the hotels, they have like
The dark out.
they have everything's like
shades.
Yeah.
4 layers of it because
Yeah,
it's
I
light
remember
so
that.
early. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alaska's awesome.
Alaska's great.
That's so fun.
Yeah, but
Did you build
traveling's-
maps while you were out there?
Yeah, we did actually. We've got one of our first clients was a park up in Alaska,
Which one?
Pioneer Park up in Fairbanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, such a fun place, really historical.
And they're loving their app and they use it quite
Yeah.
a bit. And
hmm
wow, that's awesome.
Yep, they promote it to all their visitors, and they've got all the content, everything that they need there. So
Great.
yeah, it's been great. Traveling is the best. I think that was one thing that really got us all into this because we're all really passionate travelers. Yeah. So
Mainly
Nate's,
in the U.S. right now.
we as Wander, we're in the U.S.,
Okay.
but we're all really anxious to get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
out there. That's
Cool.
So-
exciting.
Yeah. One thing crazy is that 3 of us founders have all lived in Asia for multiple years. So
At
we're,
different times or?
Yeah, at different times.
Wow, interesting.
And we've gone back and forth living in Asia and living in the U.S. So
Interesting.
we're really excited to get over there. And
I've got some really great tips for Hong Kong.
perfect.
Yeah.
You
I
spent some time there,
did.
didn't you?
Lived in Hong Kong for 2
That's
years. so-
awesome. Yeah. we're excited to go over there. But we do have maps over, we haven't been there personally, but we do have maps for Mount Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
So that's on our list. And we've got a map for Switzerland, a little town up in the mountains in Switzerland. So
Fantastic.
yeah, we're starting to expand. Our sole focus isn't really outside of the U.S. right now, but we are starting to expand. It just naturally comes. So yeah, it's great.
So I have a background with cities. I was a city manager for 10 years.
Incredible
Awesome.
city manager.
I don't know about that. AJ didn't know me.
Number one growing city in Utah. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. It was fun. I love
Go
my
Google
time.
which one that is, right?
Yeah, I love my time with the city. But this is just getting my juices, I'm just thinking about it. And do you focus on cities and towns, or are you mainly parks?
We focus on any size of anything. So I know that's a really broad answer, but we focus with cities, we focus with counties, we can even focus with states. Right now we're working with Utah State Parks and Arkansas State Parks, and we go big and small. One thing that we really want to make sure is that any destination that would like a digital interactive 3D map, that they have the resources to get it. So we work with big and small. So teeny parks up in Alaska to these massive these massive counties over in Arkansas. So we're all over the place. We work with cities. We're working with Draper City right now up in Utah. So
Great.
yeah, we want to make sure that it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah, we'll have to chat offline because I've got all kinds of ideas from the city side.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah, cities are fun. There's we've met with a couple of cities that want to keep their historical things preserved. And so they're working with us to figure out how to keep their history preserved, but in a digital way and a visual way. So
Wow.
we feel like a lot of cities and counties can always tell people where to go and tell people about things, but isn't it better if you can show them?
Yeah.
And see it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm a visual person, so.
What's next on the horizon for Wander? Aleksa, what are you excited about now?
So many things. It just keeps going. We kind of made a joke, but it's kind of happened is once we get into one state, it's so much easier to get in the next place and the next place and the next place. But yeah, the expansion, we feel like we're in a good place going with our product, with our marketing team. We're expanding our teams more. So
Great.
we've already quadrupled our team in the last year. So
You did a round, right?
yeah,
Raised
we
money?
just raised a round.
Can you tell us those numbers or?
Yeah, it's not totally official yet, but yeah, we've raised around. It's at $2 million.
Okay.
So yeah,
Is that the value? That's the money you've raised in the valuation?
the valuation's at 9.75.
Fantastic. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
in 18 months. That's great growth.
Yeah, 18 months, and we're still just going up. So our
Good.
trajectory is going higher and higher, and that's what we all hope for, right?
Fantastic.
Hasn't been easy, but it's definitely been worth it, and it's exciting to watch something grow from the ground up.
Great.
Okay, the last question that we have for you probably is, if we all want to be known for something, so what, when you're done, what do you hope that people remember about you?
Your legacy that you leave the world.
Yep.
I love that question.
Why do you love that question? I'm just curious.
I love that question because I've always thought about it.
Oh, really?
Ever
Okay.
since, so I actually wrote a paper about it in like my junior high class.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, what legacy will you leave?
Mhm.
And then I've always had I had this shirt in high school and I wore it through college and like all the time, and it just said, leave a legacy. Nike.
Yep.
Leave a legacy. I think the biggest legacy that I want to be known for is not necessarily what I've accomplished, but the person I've become. I want people to know when they're around me, how do they feel? When they hear the Wander name, they know that we're family centric, that we have values, we have motivation, we have things that we want to give to the world. So, but for me personally, I want to make sure that I've been able to give back. You know, I graduated from Utah Valley University, and giving back to those students and giving back to the people that have really made the difference in my life and the people that need help. So
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Thanks, Aleksa.
That's where I met Wander, was at UVU.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Very
It's
cool.
a good place. It's a
Good.
great place.
It's growing like crazy as well, right? Yeah, that's
Yes.
fantastic.
I got to tour their building today, actually.
The new one that they just built?
Yep.
It's incredible.
Oh, wow.
It is
Incredible.
amazing.
That's
Don't
the
you wish it was
business
there?
building, right? The Keller
Mhm.
business building?
The Keller
Okay.
business
Don't
building.
you wish it would have been there when we went to school?
Yeah, I actually walked in there and I was like, oh, I kind of miss college.
Yeah.
and then I stepped back out and I said, okay, actually,
I don't want
Like, I'm
I'm
good.
good.
I don't
I'm
want to go
good.
to those
I'm good.
late nights. Midnight
But-
founder of building a company's okay, not midnight studying. That's not okay. No.
yeah, the midnight studying wasn't as good as Midnight Founder. That's the truth.
Aleksa, well, it's so good to have you on the show. Thanks for being a midnight founder and inspiring us and our audience to do great things.
Yeah, thank you.
We
Thank you
would-
for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, and we would love to maybe have you again as things progress and things grow. So
Absolutely. I'd love to come back.
great. Where can our audience find you? Where can our audience go to learn more about Wander?
You can go to wandermaps.com to find all the information that you need. You can also look us up on LinkedIn. We're pretty active on LinkedIn. So looking up myself, Aleksa Porter.
Will you
AJ
spell that? I know it's an interesting
Yeah,
spelling.
it's a weird spelling. It's Aleksa
There we go.
Porter. That one's pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can look up Nathan Porter and you can look up AJ Brow. And you can find all you want to know about Wander from us.
The Midnight Founders Podcast is a podcast about entrepreneurship that is hosted by CB Vault and Rev Road. CB Vault is the entrepreneur arm of Central Bank.
And Rev Road is a venture services firm where companies come to grow.
Thanks for listening to us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
This is AJ and Jake signing out.